First and foremost, I want to talk about the Chiefs versus Bills. The Chiefs win 42-36, walk-off touchdown in overtime. Patrick Mahomes brings the Chiefs back from basically done. Everyone thought they were done. If you're looking at the probability of win versus losses, it was shooting up and down for both the Bills and the Chiefs. So credit to Mahomes, credit to Josh Allen. Both of them probably played a perfect game on both sides. Like, you can't really look at Josh Allen and say that he needed to do more. You can't look at Mahomes and say like, oh, if you would have played better, it would have been easier for game for the Chiefs. I think both quarterbacks played to their potential, left it all out on the field, and it was just incredible. Those last 2 minutes where the Bills took the lead, and you're like, okay, that's it. Like, there's no way the Chiefs come back, and the Chiefs score like a 50-plus yard touchdown to Tyreek Hill, and you're like, okay, they probably left too much time for the Bills, but can the Bills do it? This is going to be the moment for Josh Allen. Stephen A. Smith was tweeting that if Josh Allen does it, he's going to be the new Tom Brady. He's the new Tom Brady if he gets this done. Josh Allen drives them down again, gets another touchdown to Gabriel Davis, shout out to Gabriel Davis. He lost, but he had a performance of the lifetime. 8 receptions, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns, a postseason record. So Gabriel Davis, he finished the year really strong in the regular season, and he came alive in the postseason. Unfortunately, he's out now, but don't forget about Gabriel Davis. If you play fantasy football, he might be a sleeper for next year. Keep an eye on Gabriel Davis. But when Josh Allen drove down for that touchdown to Gabriel Davis with 13 seconds left, it was pandemonium. If you were on Twitter during any of the last 2 minutes of the Buffalo Bills with the Chiefs, that was all that anyone was talking about. This game was ridiculous. I saw a statistic that said that in Kansas City, 90% of TVs were tuning into the game. That's crazy. And if I was to say a rough estimate, I would say maybe around half of the U.S. was watching. The whole world was watching. It was incredible. It was magnificent. It was must-watch TV. It lived up to everything that I ever wanted from this game. When I was talking to Arturo, I made the connection to the Lakers versus Clippers on how the Bills and the Chiefs was a hyped up matchup before the season started. We all wanted to see it. The Bills got embarrassed in the AFC conference game last week. They were talking about the Chiefs. They were talking how they're obsessed with the Chiefs. Like, they want the Chiefs. They're building their team to beat the Chiefs. They beat them in the regular season. And you're like, okay, hopefully they meet up in the playoffs. It's never a guarantee that they're going to play each other. Sometimes the matchups have to fall. And we did get to see it in the divisional round, probably a round too early than we would have expected or wanted. But it lived up to everything that we ever wanted. Unlike the Lakers versus the Clippers, where, same type of thing, preseason hype, promos, everyone's talking, like, team parties from both sides are talking shit, talking smack. Everyone's hyped up. Everybody wants to see it in the playoffs. And it never happened. So I was just glad that the Bills and Chiefs did happen. And once it happened, I was like, man, I hope they live up. I hope they live up to it. And they did, man. Oh boy, did they do it. But once Josh Allen scored with 13 seconds left to put them up 3 points, you're like, okay, KC still has 3 timeouts. It's Patrick Mahomes. It's Tyreek Hill. It's Travis Kelce. You're like, okay, like, you kind of know that they're not completely dead, but you're like, okay, like, it's going to take a miracle for them to not be done, I know they got 3 timeouts, but 3 timeouts, man, like, you're not even going to be able to use all 3 because, like, there's just not enough time. Each play is going to take, 5 seconds, take a timeout, 5 seconds, you run another play. That's it. Your third timeout, you're not going to take it because the time's going to run out. So you're like, okay, like, the Bills just got to, tackle someone in bounds and it's over. And, they kick it out of the end zone. They get the ball at the 25. Little quick play to Tyreek Hill. He gets like a quick 18 or a quick 20. And then down the seam, he gets Travis Kelce. He gets another 15. And you're just like, oh, my God, they really did this. 49-yard field goal. Goes down the middle, overtime. Chiefs win the coin toss. And at this point, you're like, okay, yeah, they're going to win this. There's no way they give the ball back to the Bills. And sure enough, they drove down the field methodical on the number 1 defense and scored the game-winning touchdown to Travis Kelce, and game over. And I know a lot of people are complaining about, like, everyone enjoyed the game. Everybody wanted to see this keep going, especially with the last 2 minutes where it was just a back and forth. It was pandemonium. Like, the stadium went from being super happy, defense, defense, Bill score. All right, Chiefs, come on, let's do it. Mahomes has got this. Tyreek Hill scores. Boom, pandemonium. Arrowhead goes crazy. Josh Allen starts driving the Bills down the field. The stadium gets quiet. You're like, oh my God, they're going to beat us. Boom, they score the touchdown. Stadium goes quiet. Mahomes takes him down the field, gets the game-tying field goal. Again, pandemonium in the stadium. It's just loud. And then it was just ridiculous. So I get how everybody wanted to keep it going. Everybody wanted Josh Allen to get a chance to respond. I get it. I completely get it. I kind of wanted Josh Allen to get a chance to respond too. But then we get to the point where it's like, okay, like, these two juggernauts caught fire, right? Both teams caught fire. We might have never gotten an end if you just keep giving the other guy a chance to match it. We could have just kept going and going and going. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but before, the overtime rule was whoever scores first wins. It didn't matter if it was a touchdown or if it was a field goal. You just had to score, and that was it. Game over. And people thought that wasn't fair, so then they changed it to, okay, you can no longer win with just a field goal. If you score a field goal, the other team gets a chance to respond. And I think that's as good as it gets. Because if you keep changing it, then at some point it's gonna get to like the college football overtime, and that's too gimmicky. That's not really even football. Like you're just playing offense and defense. You completely eliminate special teams. And I think I personally, once they changed the rule, I really like the rule. Once we went from just anything wins it, you could just get a field goal and it's over, to, okay, if your defense gets a stop, holds them to a field goal, then you get a chance to respond. If you score a touchdown, it's game over. If you score a field goal, it's, sudden death. Whoever scores next wins. I like that stuff. I like it. I think if you just keep changing it and change it, you're just going to prolong the game. There's going to be more injuries. There's going to be, you're going to lose more star players. And, God forbid something happens to one of your favorite players. Like, who's to say that if you just let the Chiefs and the Bills keep going at it, these guys are just going to keep getting fatigued, and God forbid something happens to Josh Allen or Mahomes. And now what? We're just left with, one of these teams losing their star quarterback because they've played, 48 minutes plus another 12 in overtime. Or if you just keep it going, like, it's just, or 60 minutes actually. I was thinking NBA, 60 minutes plus another 15 in overtime, and then you just keep it going 75 minutes. It gets to a point where it's like, all right, like, these men are trying to kill each other on the field. Like, I think the rule is correct. It's unfortunate that it happened to Josh Allen. It's unfortunate to the Bills though that they let the Chiefs get to field goal range in 13 seconds, and I think it is what it is. The Bills had to stop the Chiefs to a field goal to give Josh Allen a chance. They couldn't do it. They pay the consequences. The Chiefs had to execute, and they did at home. It happened to the Chiefs versus the Patriots. And I know people are just like, oh, but we were complaining back then too. We want the rule changed back then. I get it. If anything, maybe just for the playoffs. I don't think this would make sense for the regular season. Like, what if you have like 2, 3, 4, 5 overtime games? Like, we know teams do go to overtimes multiple times in the season. I think the Raiders went to overtime 4 times during the regular season. Just imagine if those games just keep getting prolonged and prolonged and prolonged. So I think maybe I could see the playoffs postseason get a little tweaked or something, but I think for regular season it shouldn't get moved. And honestly, if I had a vote, I would just leave it how it is. But overall, Kansas City Chiefs versus Buffalo Bills. Whew, man, just thinking about it is just bringing me excitement again. It was just a roller coaster of emotions. I can't even imagine how the fan bases for these two teams felt during the game, like the highs and the lows. Like, I kind of felt it as neutral, as a free agent fan. I felt it like, whoa, the Chiefs are done. Like, they turned their season around just for nothing. Oh, the Bills, they got the revenge. Oh my God, the Chiefs came back. You can never cut them out. And then, oh my God, Josh Allen has arrived. He's going to, slay the dragon. And, Mahomes is crazy. It was just pandemonium, insane. I hope you guys watched the game. I hope you guys tuned into it live. I hope you guys were reacting on social media, because that in of itself, it was a beautiful moment. as a football fan, as an NFL fan, to culminate the divisional round with this game, with all the highs and lows, it was just amazing. I completely and thoroughly loved it. And NFL's king. NFL's king, especially in the US. Nothing can touch the NFL. Oh my God. I'm excited for this conference championship weekend. Chiefs versus Bengals and Rams versus 49ers. That's going to be amazing. But Bills and Chiefs, they lived up to it. And we get, 10 plus years of this. Josh Allen's 25. Mahomes is 26. Man. And people were like, everyone kept talking about the AFC. The AFC is so stacked, man. Mahomes, 26. Allen, 25. Herbert, 24, I believe, or 23. Lamar Jackson, around the same age, 24. Joe Burrow, 25 or 26. I think he's 25. Whew, man. Baker Mayfield, 26. I'm just like, Baker Mayfield is bad. But, man, the AFC is stacked. If you don't have a quarterback and you're in the AFC and you watch this game, you must be petrified. You're like, how are we going to get over these teams in any of these next few years? Like, it's a scary sight. It's a scary sight, man, having Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in the same conference. But, man, overall, I'm going to stop talking about this game. It was amazing. I loved it. I wish I would have recorded it. If this was like the early 2000s, I would have wanted to have like a VHS copy of this game. Just, saved over somewhere that I could just pop it into the VHS player and just kick back and watch it sometime. And then in a couple years, I realized that, I taped over something important, but it didn't matter because this game was that good.